Hi, I'm Andre J, and today I'm going to talk about how to use colorizers with video feedback. So as promised in the earlier episode where I talked about the new version of Chromatic Aberration, the search for Sasquatch, I was going to show you, well, I originally promised that I would show you side by side, but that turned out to be too complicated in terms of like routing things. So instead, I'm going to have to just show you the output, the standard output, but I'll be able to go back and forth and show you like what the original video looks like. So this is basically the original video here. What I'm doing is I've got a 2-camera feedback loop set up here. Each one is on their own like individual screen. So the first one is got going on here is this the star with the really light feedback on the outside. That's level 1. And then level 2, I'm keying into that, and I'm standing in front of the screens right here so I can interrupt the flow as much as I want. I've got a little brightness attenuator on it via VidaCraft Vidimate, so I was able to turn down the brightness so we can get like as many sort of different gradients of like values between like very, very white and very, very dark. And we'll see why once we start adding in some color. But we'll be able to sort of play with each one of these individually. I'm set up pretty well here so I can touch both the cameras and also play with the colorizer at the same time. So here's the original signal, and you can see that we've got basically like three different flavors of feedback. The first one has like an inverted in the middle at the star here, and then is doing just like a very sharp, cloudy, white feedback on the outside of it. For this one I actually found at a thrift store last year, I found a pretty cheap little LED TV, and it's kind of remarkable how the feedback works off of this one. It's pretty slow. It's kind of it's almost like too good at times, if that makes sense. Yeah, the darkness on it, the fact that the LED TVs as opposed to LCD TVs, like individually can like turn on and off their brightness, seems to make a really huge difference for how the feedback works. And then the second screen I'm working on, this one that I just blocked out, the grayer one, is a CRT. So you can see that one's moving a lot faster. It's got a little bit more like grainy distortion to it. And of course I'm using my favorite camera, which gives us those, you can see them faintly in the background, those kind of frustrating little like alternating current oscillating lines. If I would have just switched to the battery at this point, that would have made it go away, but here we are. Plus that'll give some extra texture to everything. So let me just kind of run through each layer. So we'll start from the top. So you can see the top meaning the whitest part, and I'm able to saturate that whole thing and then select a range of colors in there. A pretty nice rule of thumb I found, starting out, it's good to sort of match the brightness ranges with like how hue sort of works with your mind. You can kind of desaturate things too, so it doesn't get too confusing at first. Will get confusing later. But so I'm going to desaturate it a little bit, and I'm going to leave it at like this sort of like almost like a greenish blue kind of thing. And then we'll go down one level. When you turn up the saturation, it's going to immediately make it red, and we can see that there's not really a lot of range, or not a lot of like of that brightness range in this one. But as we change the color on it, we can see that because of the different colors we select will make it pop out in different ways. So red kind of makes it fade into the background, but if we bring out something like a purple, like a very saturated purple, that's going to make it stand out a bit, and that'll give it this kind of like outlining feel. Let's see if I can accentuate it by just moving around the top layer a bunch. So it seems to be right on the edges of that top layer, the really bright feedback is where that's coming from. So let's go down one more layer. So this one's sort of like right in between the two. And what I want to do is take this one and make it possibly a little more blue than the last one. So we did like a little bit of a purple for the last layers, or for the last gradient. So this one I'm going to do a little bit of a blue. So we'll try to like, kind of like work our way down, if that makes sense. Let's go down one more layer. You can see now we're getting into the brightest part of the grayer feedback. And I'm going to select, I think I want to do like a yellow for this one. Yeah, we'll do a yellow there, and then to blend in with that one, that red actually looks really nice. Maybe I'll just go up a little bit on the red and give it some orange, and then go one more layer down and give that one red. One more layer down, and let's give that one like a purple. So the purple will kind of fade into the darkness, but as we move things around, it will show up a bit more. And I'm just going to play around with this setup here a bit, adjust the focus on this one. And you can see a lot more color coming out of there as we focus in and out. This right here. Oh, you can see my teacup right there. Move both cameras so they're sort of in opposite directions. Zoom out the other. Oh, it's not zooming. Let's focus. Zoom out. It's pretty juicy. So really one of the best things you can do with it is see how that sort of auto exposure on the one camera is like doing that sort of weird rainbow gradient thing. These are really nice to use with cameras that have like a strong auto exposure. Juicy stuff. You can see if I tried to do this directly, if I have these colors working within the actual like feedback loops, there's no way I'd be able to get these actual textures happening because the colors themselves would sort of change how the sensors on the camera actually perceive things. But by just working directly in the grayscale for both feedback channels and then colorizing it afterwards, we actually have like a pretty ridiculous amount of control over everything. Alright. So another thing we can do, so if I also want to make sure to saturate the darkest layer, we won't see anything right now. If I go in, so I go to the next level up, and then I can start to offset, so I press the A button on Chromatic Aberration, and then I'm able to change the brightness values for everything. So I'm going to go into the background and make that pretty bright. And then we'll go back into the first one and select a different color for this. So what color do we want for the background? I like how this one's working at the moment. And we'll change some of the colors as we start changing the brightness ranges and everything. Let's go and just adjust the brightness ranges on everything too while we're at it. So, actually go up to the top now. What I want to do is take the brightest up and make it darkest. Yeah! We'll do that for sort of every other one of the bright layers. We'll take those and like bring it back down so they're really dark. So that's pretty wild. Now the next thing I'm going to do is start to oscillate the hue. So I press B on the nano controller, and then I'm going to start to turn on the hue oscillators. One by one. We're just going to oscillate them all for now. Let's just go crazy here. So just play a little bit with this setup here. So of course the final thing to try out is then start to oscillate the brightness levels. We'll do these with the same the same way that we did oscillating all of the hues. press C on the nano control. And we'll just start from the bottom and work our way up. We're going to oscillate them all. Slightly different speeds and slightly different amounts for each one, but this is where it's going to start to get really disorienting. Go back into brightness and start to adjust some of the levels a little bit differently. There we go. Now we'll play around with this one a bit and see what happens. Curious if I can pull this star out. It'll still work out okay. Figure out the star a little bit. So let's go pure abstract here. Oops, lost it. Yeah, the second camera I have is a really crazy zoom on it. Pretty much you can zoom right into the pixels on the CRT. There we go. There's some scan. Interesting expression right there. You get to just a certain point, it's able to focus on this camera. Make a scan. Ooh, this is interesting. Just a reminder, you made it this far into the video, you made it 2:22:20, no, 22:22. If you like the kind of work that I do and you appreciate the video things, these video things, and also these video things, the videos I make for YouTube, and also the video synthesis tools I make. Just a reminder that if you'd like to help support me doing these things, like everybody else who makes videos on YouTube, apparently I'm just doing that thing where I'm like, go to my Patreon and subscribe. Apparently it's a model that works for some people. But yeah, I hope maybe it kind of will work out for me. As maybe a lot of you know by now, if you've seen been following Instagram, the Video Waves stuff and everything. Sort of had to close down my Etsy shop, which was a primary way of making income for a minute there, due to lack of reliability of the supply chain due to semiconductor shortages. Working on some alternate modes of income generation that don't involve just going back to like the old physical labor zones. If you'd like to help out the development, I've got a Patreon site available. You can just subscribe for as low as $5 a month. Like I've mentioned a bunch of times, if I just get a couple hundred people subscribing at $5 a month, that would be like more than enough to like keep me going in terms of being able to work on development, open source tool development, and making educational materials and whatnot on a monthly basis. So yeah, head on over to the Patreon and check that out if you're so interested. If you do want to buy these things, I don't actually sell Chromatic Aberration on its own. I still will be doing limited sales, not through the Etsy shop though. You'll have to go to my website and I'll have a link to exactly where you go in the description here, where you can go and get on the mailing list to get notified when you can buy stuff like wave pools and auto waves and all that stuff again. Yeah, I mean, that's about it for the main information. Mostly what I wanted to do with this video was just show you how sort of cool and crazy it is to have direct control over like an 8-band hue and brightness level things when doing video feedback. Because this kind of stuff literally wouldn't be able to do directly in using video feedback. You'd have to be doing it via colorizer, solarizer. if I make this star a little bit smaller. Try some more experiments with this mode. How small can I make a star? Really tiny star going on here. And maybe I'll add some effects on this first one. Horizontal mirroring happening. Okay, this is pretty crazy. Alright, here's some aliens. Goofy. Try another set of try to speed up the LED feedback. See how that interacts with the whole shebang here. Bit more defocusing on the LED one as well. See where that gets us. That's very blobby. Adding some pixels. Is that cool? Oh, it's very noisy. Maybe larger pixels. Yeah, it's a little too noisy. Okay, that worked out pretty well, actually. Oop, I kicked this one. Try not to kick your cameras while you're doing feedback. Don't get that yet by now. turn the decay way up. Slow it down a bit. Turn on all the symmetry. Very slow rotations. Signal degradation, the noisy feedback is pretty intense here. Dial down signal degradation. Let's see what happens if I invert the black and white. Invert color. Second one. There, both. So we have a double color inversion going on here. Intensity a bit here for that to actually work out. There we go.
I think that's probably actually about as long as this should go. This is about 40 minutes already. But as always, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful or not, or what other kind of information you'd like to see. Yeah, go check out the Patreon thingy if you'd like to support. Yeah, otherwise, as always, have fun.